I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Judy Maxwell is responding to the new chairs. They roll around very easily, apparently. So, and I feel taller, I guess, if that's well, Judy Maxwell feels taller.
I do. And it's comfortable.
Exactly. All right. So always glad to have improvements in the district. Are there any modifications to the agenda? I was not aware.
Yes, Brad. Karen Keller asked that we modify the agenda to include a resolution to approve the DASA training on August 24th. It needs to be board approved before it can happen. I put the resolution in the Dropbox. I also have hard copies for
Yes, I did see it there. Where do you want to add that?
Just as board business, second item of business.
So where do we want to do?
It would be item C. Right?
C, yep. So it'll be Roman numeral 5, item C.
Okay, noted. You got it. We will do everything in our power to be in compliance with DASA, and we'll continue to do whatever is necessary. Dignity for All Students Act. Anyone who's wondering. So we'll move on. We've got the modification and hearing from public and staff, and a longtime staff member, Dan Boone Wells. Feel free, Dan. Come on.
I see the agenda says 2 minutes. I thought it was 3. But, good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Dr. Brown and student representative. This is my first time ever facing the Board of Education. I'm here regarding the school safety position at the Ithaca High School. We were notified June 21st that our position was going to be downgraded to an aides position and moved to somewhere in the district, not here at the high school. And I'm here tonight to talk to the Board of Education to ask them actually why. I mean, no one has actually given us the true answer. I hear all rumors about upgrading the school, upgrading the system, new looks, new things. Without us safety officers, there's 6 of us. There was 8 of us, they took 2 of us away. The reason there was 8 of us is because a couple years ago, well, at least 5 years ago, there was an incident with a young lady in a bus with DeWitt, and it expelled down to the high school, and the Afro-American kids protesting and stuff. And the state of New York or somebody came in and said we didn't have enough safety officers for the size of our school. So they upgraded to, it was 5, and then they upgraded to 8. We lost 2 a couple years ago in the budget. So we were working with 6. And our jobs are not just sitting around, riding the golf cart, riding the boommobile, as people call it. And our jobs is to patrol the halls. We're assigned to buildings. We try to encourage kids to go to classes. We try to stop them from going up in the bridge smoking, because that's a hazard. And we keep our eyes open during the day when the students are walking through the hall to make sure nobody's harassing and bullying or anybody. If we do that, we try to report it to the associate principal. We do bus duties in the morning. We do cafeteria duties in the afternoon. Sometimes there's 300-something students, and there's only 1 security officer. Some of the APs are tied up in other things, and they have to address to that, so there's 1 of us covering 300-something kids. All I'm asking the board tonight, and Dr. Brown, is to sit back and explain to us, and if one of the board members or Dr. Brown wants to meet us and our representative, explain to us why you're doing this and what's the reason. All the years I've been here for 39 years, all my job is to make sure this is a safe school. Now, I walked in June 21st, it was downgraded to an aide position, and they're going to put me somewhere I do not know where. Okay? And so they're downgrading our position, and they're downgrading our pay. I'm here for the kids I like to see the kids get dreams too. That's all I'm asking right now, is the board to look into this and figure out something to keep us here, to make this a safe school. I was told in the meeting on June 21st, I'll say it very quickly because somebody's timing me, I think. I was told a couple of things that I didn't appreciate what I was told. We were talking about tough kids and stuff. I was told by someone at the meeting, the human resource officer, that we don't have tough kids at our high school. Our South Side's got tougher kids than us. And I'm looking and I said, why are we talking about other schools? Then the thing I got upset about was, well, what about the kids leaving school grounds? What if the kids get in the car and go home and get in an accident? Somebody takes them off. None of us is here to watch and try to. If we did something wrong, meet with us and try to improve things next year. Meet with us and tell us what you want. Just don't come in a meeting in a half hour and just downsize us and move us somewhere that we don't know where we're doing. In elementary schools and middle schools. And really quickly to finish everything up, all I said, somebody said, well, the police is 5 minutes away. Well, anything can happen in 5 minutes at this high school. I mean, people have seen it already. Things happen, the kids get emotional, and we just don't sit around the halls. We have buildings that we're assigned to. We don't sit around the halls. We sat there and wait, between classes. We keep our eyes on things to see things are developing and everything like that. We try to encourage kids to go to classes. We talk to them very quickly, And the other thing is, we get called these 16 to 20 times a period, sometimes more, administration to go get kids out of classrooms, to ask them to come to the APs. We don't go up there and go after them or harass them. We're asked to go, and the teachers call us all the time, can you remove a student? We go up, we try to ask the student to come out so we can calm them down and go to the AP. If he doesn't, then we call the AP. And the other thing is, cafeteria duties, the same thing, many things happen in the cafeteria duty. But all I'm asking tonight is the board to look at the situation and please don't downgrade us and move us out of the system. Because I think we do an outstanding job to keep our schools safe in Ithaca High School. And, like I said, by bragging I'm 39 years, with the school, I've seen it all, okay? And I'm glad you give me more than 2 minutes to say things, because my job is the safety and welfare of everybody on school property during the day, and to respond when I get called to go and do things, And if I walk out of here tonight and they tell me September, oh, you're going to go to elementary school, I may not do that, because all the years that I've been here is at the high school. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Mr. Lara.
Members of the board, Dr. Brown, all those in the audience, my name is Joaquin Lara, and I have 20 years experience as a high school security officer. 11 years here at Ithaca High School, 9 years in Douglas High School in Douglas, Arizona. I guess most of you can kind of imagine my shock when, as Dan was saying, that Thursday morning, June 21st, we were advised that our entire team was eliminated, our entire security force. I was already pretty nervous preparing for the graduation address that night, and it was something that was just hard to believe that it would happen, especially on the same day. So I feel that if some in the community are saying that we all lost our security jobs because we sat around and did nothing, then there should have been an administrator documenting this for years and calling us in with a warning or warnings or an improvement plan, instead of just shutting down the entire program on one Thursday morning. And if that's not the case, but if there is a new philosophy where all high school staff are expected to be nicer and kinder to students in crisis, Well, we as security have already been practicing that. But if we've been getting it wrong, I think that it's better to train us in this new method instead of firing all security. We as security guards arrive in the area after the student is out of control, for the most part. We try to calm things and try to find proper help for the student. We do not escalate the student's anger or crisis. I think we help. I think we do an excellent job. And if the Ithaca Police Department is ever called, many times we've already taken care of the problem, or it's well underway to being taken care of. Because they also have emergencies. They get tied up. At a time when even movie theaters are thinking of having security officers, it doesn't make sense to get rid of us security at IHS. We are dealing with more and more bath salts problems, marijuana laced with dangerous drugs. There's still serious bullying in classrooms, cafeteria lines, and hallways. I know there's a big change coming in G hallway, but that's always been a very dangerous place. And I think if it wasn't for those of us in security, there was a time when Mr. Redmond went down very hard to get a corner of the wall. And I think we were instrumental in his eventual recovery from that injury, which I thought, I was really scared. I thought it was very serious. But that can happen in other hallways, because sometimes it just gets too congested. And I think we help in solving some of that congestion. There's also fights that we break up, as Mr. Wells said. And there's still teachers that are being threatened and staff members threatened. And those things sometimes we try to deal with. Sometimes it's impossible for us to deal and solve the problem, so we do call administrators on our radio to come in and help. And a lot of times that's what's necessary, because they're the ones that have the power to discipline. We can't order out-of-school suspension for them, or in-school suspension, or find social workers for them, or call the parents and have that help come in. So it may seem to some that we rely on administrators much too often, but I think we do what we can, with our experience and without doing something that may eventually be a mistake. And I think our supervision has been a problem for many years. The last 2 years we've been supervised by the high school principal. And I think it's unfair to put a principal in that position, because they're already super busy. They have too much to do, too much going on. They may be called out to here to the district office or somewhere else. And we need direction, just like any team needs direction. And we need to vent our frustrations. We need to explain what we know, because we pick up a lot of information in the hallways from students. And sometimes we find out things before they're going to happen. And sometimes, because the administrators are so busy, we don't get information that we should have for something that's pending. And that can cause sometimes a very serious problem. And there's times when, the high school can be a very calm place many times. This last semester, as I mentioned in the graduation speech, was exceptional. There was a lot less problems. But there are times when things break out, and there are times when there are multiple crises going on. And it could be in one end of the high school, something big going on, and then another thing breaks out at the other end. And there are times when administrators, and we understand, they get called to meetings here, to conferences, and when there's only one left, the designated principal of the day, they're still busy. So sometimes we wind up taking care of emergency situations and making calls, you know, on what to do for the first 15, 20 minutes of the crisis. It doesn't always happen, but there have been times, and eventually we were able to get everybody together to find the solution to the problem. And I think we do amazingly well when we're put in those situations, those crisis situations. Many of us have many years of experience. Because of this problem of the administrators being busy and having so many obligations and responsibilities, and the principal being designated as our supervisor, as far as I can recall, we only had one meeting with an administrator on our duties and responsibilities each semester of this past school year. And we may have had one other one, but right now I recall, one that was something where we could at least talk and explain our ideas and get some direction. We have had over 3 years with the same uniforms. We wear this maroon golf shirt, and we spend some time out in the sun, and even when it snows, there's some sun. So we get this sort of faded yellowish line over this shirt, but we keep wearing. We've got, I think I've got 4 of those shirts, and each one of them has that line. And of course, our caps also get worn. So I think that it's important that this whole situation be given a second look, in my opinion, and if at all possible, restore the team, give us some training, and restore our pay. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Lawyer. Thank you. Adam.
I won't be that long. Hi, good evening. Kind of scary out there, but here we are. I guess we're not out there.
Why is this being here?
Yeah, you came in. I'm the president of the Ithaca Teachers Association. We do not represent teachers' aides, and securities. But I did want to say that I know that they work closely with the teachers who are IT members, and I know that I've spoken to a few high school teachers who are hearing whether they're rumors or not, and are concerned not only about the building safety next year, but about the morale and what's going to happen in the building. So I'm hoping that you guys are listening to their concerns, and that you are working with Dr. Brown and the other administrators to maybe resolve this so that it doesn't become an issue when the school year starts. There's a lot that's going to happen this year academically, and we can't be wasting time in the classroom while we try and sort something out that maybe could have been dealt with before the start of the school year. So I'm hoping that you're listening so that we can start the school year with teachers feeling supported as well, and I think that they'll feel supported knowing that these guys are in place, whether it's a team or different decisions. So thank you for listening to them, and hopefully maybe this will come to a close here soon. On the ATA front, we had over 200 teachers attending the Summer Institute last week and participated in all kinds of breakout sessions, student learning, objectives, assessment, data, teacher evaluations, and how to have discussions with the principal around student data. A lot came out of that, and they're already working on that. They're also attending other things, like I said a couple weeks ago. There's a PPR team that has been meeting with district administrators, working really hard to get that situated so that way administrators can roll it out, same language, same flow charts when we start the school year, so there's less confusion, even though we know there's going to be a lot of confusion the start of the school year. We're looking at over, I think, 50 teachers coming on board next week or in 2 weeks for new teacher orientation. Karen Keller, I don't think she's here, has been working very, very hard, and I've been co-chairing that with her. We have an agenda that she's confirming, and I'm requesting that you guys get in touch with her to see the agenda so that you can find good spots during those 3 days to stop in and meet our new teachers and see what's actually going on. I think that a lot of work has gone into to it. There's a team that's working on that too with teachers, along with myself and Karen. I think we have an awesome new teacher orientation coming up. It's great that we do have those 3 days where they can start working with their colleagues and meet their mentors on Wednesday and start that mentoring process so we can maintain that retention of our new teachers. So once again, check in with Karen, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the 27th through the 29th. Thank you.
Thanks, Adam. Board responses at this point? So,
well, first of all, I just want to...
oops, sorry. One more speaker, Dave Nutt.
Thanks, I appreciate that. My name's David Nutt. I'm the new education reporter for the Ithaca Journal. So I just wanted to introduce myself. So you'll be seeing me around at these meetings. The one thing I really wanted to mention was, I know it's a technicality, but we consider it an important one at the paper, that according to the open meeting law, public hearing has to officially begin for a motion to be called for executive session, which wasn't done tonight. So
how do you know that?
I know that because that's the open meeting law.
Where were you?
I mean, I was here about 10 of 6, and I mean, I received that. I mean, I have the agenda, and it says pretty clearly that the meeting was starting at 6 o'clock, and anticipated motion, which I realize that it's there to say that you're going to do it, but technically you're supposed to meet, and then the motion is supposed to be made. So.
Does open meeting law state that we have to be in a certain room when that happens?
Well, if it's a public hearing, it's not really public if you're someplace where the rest of the people in the room are not, I suppose. I mean, again, it's a technicality, but it is the law.
Do you have anything else you want?
Well, I would like to ask what the reason for the executive session was, because that's also required by the law. Okay, can I have someone confirm that?
Hold on for a minute. This is a time for public comment. It's not a time where we answer questions.
Well, it's a discussion of employment history of particular persons. So is that not sufficient for you?
No, that is sufficient. That's absolutely sufficient. I would just like it.
So
this was mailed. This was sent before the meeting happened. So how would I know that that's exactly?
This agenda goes out to all the media outlets. This particular agenda.
Yeah, it didn't go out to yesterday, actually, because Friday we had IT problems.
No, I'm aware of that.
So they go out.
I'm aware of that. I just like it confirmed that was the meeting.
So I got
for it. So it was discussion of employment history of particular persons.
Exactly.
All right.
When
Thank
you
you.
have an agenda, you have an idea what you're going to talk about before you get to the meeting.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying the law is that the public hearing must begin. It says here very clearly, board expects to resume public session at 7 p.m. Well, if the board, I wasn't late. I was here.
No, we were late. We got here about 7:10 or 7:15.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
So, David, how long have you been with the Ithaca Journal?
I've been there for a few months.
Great. We look forward to you covering the board meetings in the future, reporting on what happens at these meetings, and we will be sure that, as we have always done, we will abide by the open meetings law. And we have a public comment session, and we are always happy when reporters, whether it's radio or TV or print, report on what the public has to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. On to board comments.
Thanks, Rob. So I just wanted to first thank Dan and Joaquin for coming out and taking us up and speak to us. First I'll say is you guys combined have over 60 years working with our students, and we value that. We know you don't sit around all day. We know that during those 60 years, you guys build connections with kids. We know that you do work, right? But what I want, and we know you care about kids, but I want you to realize what we're trying to do district-wide. At every level, we've challenged people to look at how we do things and try to do it better to serve those kids. You know, for example, you guys are talking about restructuring of your department. We've also restructured the whole top-level administrative team. It's totally different than it was last year. Adam mentioned APPR, right? The teachers are restructuring everything that they're doing to deal with these new changes, with the hopes that it serves our kids better. So it's the board, in fact, is trying to meet better, be more efficient. You know, we got these little things here to help our meetings. So it's not the case that we're going after anyone in particular because we don't value what you've done over your 60 years. It's simply we're trying to do things better to serve kids. And we have some ideas on how we might transition to a more effective way to secure our high school and engage with kids. And we're coming at it with the same care and concern that you guys have for the kids. We're trying to develop ideas and ways that make it happen. And all I can ask, and I know it's uncomfortable when those changes come to you or come to your department, but all I can ask is if you give us a little trust and have some patience with us, we're really trying to be on the same page and serve these kids. And I know transitions when they hit you are uncomfortable, but please, you know, think of, you know, what we're all trying to do together. Everybody on this board is volunteering because they have a commitment to the kids, and we're going to make good decisions, bad decisions, but we're really trying to help our students. And you know, this may be a terrible decision, and you guys may be right, or it may be a great one, but just know where it's coming from. It's not a punitive, hey, those guys are crap we don't care about. We know what you've done. You know, we just had the Stanley Cup here. We know connections you've made with students. I mean, that's a famous one, but we know, you know, everyone talks about the boon. I mean, we know kids are connected to you and the work you've done. I mean, you were just elected graduation speaker. So we know that you guys are making connections. We're simply trying to do things in a different way and change and with the best interest of our students in mind. So I didn't just want to leave it there. You know, this is not, we don't go back and forth like we did with the reporter here. So,
okay,
so
I understand.
That's just, I just, you know, because I know you guys, I didn't want to leave it there.
Comment for and question for Adam. So we know some of the things are down in the weeds, right? At least from the perspective of the public. Some of the things that we're trying to do to set and make change might be considered down in the weeds. From my perspective, two things that are not down in the weeds are what you guys are trying to work on regarding restructuring the learning framework, right? For literacy and for mathematics. So I'm asking you when you have some time, could you come and educate us about where we stand with that? Walk the public through what that has looked like over the last, assuming it's been 6 or 12 months, right? I think that would be critical. I've sort of lost track over the summer about where that is, but I think it would be essential for folks to hear that from the new union head about how we're trying to reframe some of the work of our teaching staff.
Any other comments, responses right now? We'll, if not, we'll go ahead and move on to the consent agenda.
I'll move the consent presented the agenda.
Second.
Second by Judy Max. Any comments, questions, concerns? Long personnel report at that time of year, so multiple pages. I guess it was all on the on your Dropbox. And if there are no questions, all in favor? That's everyone. And so, Dr. Brown.
Yeah, thank you.
The superintendent's report, Dr. Brown.
I just want to share with you one item. The Summer Professional Development Institute, just give you an update, share with you some of the highlights of that opportunity. I know Adam referred to it. Mr. Landau is going to speak about other professional development opportunities that happened this summer, will continue to happen throughout the year. But it was great to have so many of you there last week. We entertained, and we had staff with not only 220 of our own educators, but we had another 235, I believe, at the final count, educators from all over the country. So we had a total of 440, whatever the numbers are, whatever it adds up to be here. I think we have over 400 people here from all over the country to have deep conversations about teaching and learning. We kicked it off on Sunday afternoon with a panel discussion around college and career readiness. And we were happy to have Tom Rashan on that panel, Carl Madio on that panel, John Sipple from Cornell there, and a local business owner, Impar Sicroft. I'm getting her name correct. A great conversation about what it looks like to have a college and career ready young person today in 2012. Moving into Monday, we kicked it off with an outstanding keynote speaker, an outstanding educator, Thomas Gutsky, who challenged all 400 plus participants on grading practices. And he had us all as educators reflecting on how we were graded as students and how we graded as educators. And quite frankly, we have some thinking and additional conversations to have. We talk about things like zeros that we continue to give and how that's so totally inappropriate. We talk about, quite frankly, letter grades in general. What's the purpose of a grade? Why we grade? What are we hoping to get from a grade? It challenged us in our thinking, which I hope is just the start of a conversation right now. If you're talking about truly transforming teaching and learning, it starts with how you assess and how you grade. So that was the beginning of Monday morning, great start. And then we had the Commissioner of Education come into town, which was quite a treat. He was here because he was engaged and excited about the work that's happening in Ithaca. And he wanted to be here. He not only attended some of the conference, but he also fielded questions and answered from the audience. He shared some of the Regents' agenda and his agenda around teaching and learning, professional learning community work, data-driven instruction. And it was just a great opportunity to have that conversation with him in a large setting and then have some one-on-one small group conversations with him as well. And going forward, we had Alan Blankstein here. We talked about professional learning community work and how we work with teams and how we build capacity internally. We had other experts come to the table and help us. The final 2 days when the other 200 plus folks from all over the country went back home, we had our educators here on site for a more in-depth conversation around thinking. How do we promote thinking, not only in our young people, but in ourselves? And you'll hear more about that as we go forward, what that looks like, what particular strategies we're putting in place to promote thinking, what does that look like in our student work. So taking our love, we speak about critical thinking as being a critical 21st century learning skill. What does that look like now when we're promoting that in our young people, and what does that look like in our work and our everyday actions? So that was a 2-day conversation, and we pushed, I was learning, we all learned in ways, we were uncomfortable, we were engaged. You saw frustrated people, you saw people who were pushing one another back and forth, angry at times, but committed to the work. And from our new definition of engagement, we had people who were engaged. So that was 4 days of some of the best staff development I've ever been a part of. And from the feedback we're receiving from folks were engaged and happy about it as well. And I share this with you because you'll be hearing about it. Because one, folks are going to come to you to talk about some of the work that we engaged in, but you're going to hear from folks, as I'm hearing from folks already, about how do we expand it to be even bigger next year. Yes, we had 200 plus educators there this year, which was great. I'm hearing from folks now, this is an opportunity that every educator should have an opportunity to participate in the summer. And we still want to keep that local, regional, and national appeal as well, because I'm also hearing from my business owners who are talking about how that was great for the community, bringing that many folks into the community to eat, dine, and have a conversation. But I just want to give you an update about that opportunity because it didn't receive as much press locally as it has nationally and internationally. It was bigger than just a conversation about APPR, which was picked up here. It was a staff development opportunity that was world class, and we were very proud of it. I just wanted you to know about that and also share that with the community.
Thanks a lot. You didn't violate an open meetings law or anything?
No, that's a great law.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Anything else, Dr. Brown?
That would be all from you. Thank you.
Very good. I guess on to elementary schools update and Matt. And look forward to hearing from Matt, the new chief of elementary.
Good evening, everyone. I asked for just a 2-page document to be put into your Dropbox. And I wanted to update you all on the ambitious year we have ahead of us at the elementary level. We are implementing a new math program called Singapore Math in every single classroom in every school. And we are also implementing the new English and Language Arts framework in every class in every school. So to do that, there has been a large amount of time spent on training opportunities for teachers. So I wanted to update you just on where we are with that. A very brief few sentences about both of the programs, and then just talk about one of the ways we're going to be supporting it throughout the entire school year. So Singapore Math, just very basically is a math program that focuses very deeply on developing number and number sense with students. It gives teachers strategies to have students take things from the concrete level to then transfer it to the pictorial level, and then finally to transfer it to the abstract level in terms of learning math. They use strategies that have students start practicing algebraic skills at a very young age. The focus on number and number sense will be, I think, a very powerful lever for us in terms of increasing math achievement in the school district. And the fact that we're implementing it across the board in every class, I said is ambitious, but I also think is a good way to go about it. So, one of the ways that we're getting teachers ready for that this summer is that each teacher is getting a 3-hour overview of the program before the school year starts. We had a few sessions of that earlier in August with someone from the Singapore Math company. And we had 85 of our teachers attend those sessions that day. We had 90 teachers signed up for the remaining August sessions. And then we have a few sessions for after school right the first or second week of the school year for teachers who weren't able to make that because of vacation or whatever to catch up.
Hey, Matt, can we ask questions?
Yeah, sure.
I asked algebra, but he didn't know.
Maybe Matt would be a better choice.
Yeah. He said I'll make it up, but it won't be helpful.
Maybe.
Could you just talk a little bit about, you said numbers and number sense, so we can, I was on the curriculum committee with Judy, and we kind of went through helping select this new math curriculum, but could you just talk a little bit about what would, I guess, the idea behind what we had before with the everyday math versus, what we've moved to now and kind of what we hope to.
I wasn't here for everyday math, and I haven't used everyday math myself. But one of the criticisms of a lot of math education in this country is that the curriculum is about this thing, and we're trying to do everything. We're still doing those things like geometry, for instance. But with Singapore Math, we're taking number and number sense, so really developing just a deep understanding of numbers, with the end goal being that students are able to use mental math quite a bit. That they're able to, the example I just read today was the number 10. So students have, this all seems kind of obvious because we've all gotten past this point, but students know every which way that they can add up numbers to get to 10. That they're not memorizing. There is memorization and fluency with math, but they're not just memorizing it. They're really trying to understand, how do I build numbers to get to 10? I'm just using 10 as an example because that was one that was used in the training as well. And the other thing about a lot of math curriculums is number sense, which we really believe is the fundamental thing to know about math. In some math curriculums, it's a unit, or it's part of the math curriculum, and then you leave it behind. And we move on to, like, in November and December, we're focusing on geometry, and then we're doing something else later. This program has it kind of woven in every single day of the curriculum that they have for the students. We were thinking that a really good thing to do with both the board and our parents in the community is we have some board work sessions coming up where it's going to be a little bit more hands-on, and we were thinking of the early work sessions would be to do some hands-on things with Singapore Math, because there's going to be a lot of questions about it. It's a new program that we're doing K through 5. And we have 2 teachers on special assignment that are focusing just on math this year. They were involved in the adoption of the curriculum. They were involved in all the trainings this summer. They'll be training all the teachers as we go out. They're working with principals in a couple of weeks. But then the other thing is the elementary schools have curriculum nights at the beginning of the year where they bring parents back in to go over the school year. And so not that purchasing a book changes anything, but there was a book that was written, I can't think of the title right off the top of my head, but a book that was written by a school district that adopted Singapore Math just a couple of years ago. And the entire focus of the book is explaining it to your parent community. So we have a book, one of those books is in each school. We're really encouraging principals to encourage teachers to spend part of the curriculum night really going over the new math program. Just with random parents that I've worked with or met with in the past month, there seems to be a lot of excitement about an adoption of a new program. I think there was maybe some frustration with everyday math.
You think back?
So can I,
but there's a go ahead.
please?
No, you go.
That raises the question, right? You heard the chuckle from Everyday Laugh, which is both because we've all probably had our own experiences with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems, you know, as those of us who are in the field of education know that every couple of years there's a new fangled program that comes that's supposed to be this new curricular innovation, and everyday math, from my perspective, turns to be somewhat laughable, right? So how do we know that this isn't the same thing? I know there's a process, there's a committee, right? But how do we have any assurances at all that single-part math is not going to go by the same wayside of everyday math? 5 years we'll be laughing at it. And more importantly, for me, because that question was secondary, is I see I'm here, but can you talk about, you're going to get back to, I'm sure, with the training and the support we're going to be providing for teachers who are shifting to an entirely new math curriculum over the summer?
And to add on to that, I mean, part of the question, you know, single-part math doesn't mean anything to me as a title. Our main concern, you know, where everyday math did not meet Common Core, right? I mean, that was one of the right. There are some difficulties there. So the assumption is that single-part math